What's happening, Panda Nation? Peter Von Panda here. I want to show you my newest acquisition here. This is the newest, hottest little pocket pistol out there. This is the Ruger LCP MAX. Now, this is actually my old gun here. This is the Ruger LCP II pocket pistol, and they are virtually identical except for the geometry of the magazine. And the magazine, well, is actually a little bit different to hold a lot more rounds, and that's made this gun almost impossible to find. Now, I actually found it on launch day, went ahead and prepaid for it, and got it, and so I wanted to just show it to you here and do a little comparison with the LCP II, because you might have this and be thinking, well, should I upgrade? Maybe you're thinking, like, is there a big difference? Maybe this is a lot bigger, and even though it holds more, it's not worth it because it's not going to fit certain things. So I thought we would check it out, the holster, we would check it out with some of the different magazines that you can get here. Now, the first thing that I will tell you is that this LCP II is actually wonderful. I really like it, but the problem with this is that it doesn't hold many rounds of 380 ACP. Now, I will tell you that both of these have been emptied and safety checked off camera, and so there's almost no value in doing it on camera since you can just edit it out anyway, so I'm not going to show it to you, and so you're just gonna have to deal with it. But listen, this one has a really nice little magazine. I actually thought that there was no way to improve on this. 6 rounds right here in the standard magazine. It's got this little flange that sticks down so that you can get your fingers on it. I can kind of get 2 around there. I have very medium-sized hands, and you can see I can fit my hand around there, and without this little flange here, it would actually get a little bit squirrely, but with it, you can get your hand around there. Now, the problem with this is that it's only 7 rounds, which, you know, there isn't really a magic number that's good or bad. It's just more is better. But one of the things that I really like about this is it's a great shooter. You can see the trigger safety in there, and I can actually shoot this really well. We have milled in sights here. I've actually put an orange glow-in-the-dark nail polish on the front sight there just to help me with the target acquisition, but you can't change these at all. But I've always found that they're just fine. Even when shooting at the range, I can seem to punch paper with this just fine, and you can actually see here that it's empty, but you can actually see how the hammer will fire onto basically this transfer bar or this firing pin right in there. So that's what it sounds like. Now, I will also tell you that they sound very, very different, but from the standpoint of liking this, I really, really do. Now, one of the things that I was really interested in is how did they get this magazine to hold so many more? So I will just show you here that even though they are pretty similar from this profile, they are much different on this profile. You can see how it works to be a double stack in there. You can see how it's just a smidge longer, but obviously 6 rounds here and 10 rounds on this one, which is kind of crazy, right? Both of these slides hold back on empty mags, which is really nice. Now, I just want to put both of these back in here. I also now want to just quick show you here that we actually have different sights. Obviously, this back sight, which is great with this big U slot there, adjustable for windage. The front sight now is fiber optic, which is really cool, so you get much better sights on this, and the price point really hasn't changed on these. There is a little bit of difference here, so even though they will say that they use the same holsters, you can see here that everything on the top at a glance looks like it's about the same. But if I put these tip to tip right there, just the tip, it looks like I've got a few extra millimeters on the back end here, which is just fine. To flip them over here, you can also see that the extractor is quite a bit different here, so hopefully that's an improvement. And you can see that it's much longer on the new one, on the LCP MAX, so that's pretty cool. Now, I will show you that if I put them up top to top here, everything else is just about the same. Trigger guard, which is why I think you can say that these will fit the same holster. Now, I will show you here just kind of quickly before we get into the rest of the stuff. I'm going to take the LCP II and just put it in this holster right here, and you can see it fits no problem, right? And it's nice and snug in there. And if I go ahead and put this one in there, fits that holster too just fine, and again, nice and snug. And really, that's because anything that's changed here is kind of below the thumb, right? So that's where they have done all of their magic. Now, I do want to show you here what that looks like when you are looking at it from the back, and I will tell you that I kind of expected it to feel quite a bit different, but look at that, man. I mean, there is not a lot of difference. Now, there is more grip texturing right here, so it's a little bit of an optical illusion that it looks bigger. But if we go to the calipers, which never lie, well, let's do this in inches, and I'm going to take the LCP II, the original LCP II here, and kind of go at its widest point right there, and you can see 0.89, 0.9 inches basically, right? And so if I take the Max here and go grab it at its widest point here, 0.925, so 0.025 inches wider, which is amazing. And I tell you what, if I were to put these both of my hands like this, I can tell this is a little bit wider, but it is a really subtle difference. Now, one of the reasons that I think that is I think that they've actually added some material here on the side to get this a little wider, to be a little softer in your hands. And so you can see that it's like an extra millimeter of material, I think, above what they needed to do on the LCP II. That does not exist here. Really, all of this texture is printed right on the outside. And so this actually had a little bit of wasted space, but that is gone now. It's a little bit more efficient. You can see that the eject buttons are a little bit different. This one is reversible, which is a nice improvement as well. All right. Now, I also want to show you here the magazines. This one obviously comes with a 6-round magazine, and that's what it looks like. And you can actually get, I think, a bigger magazine, but it's going to drop it down here, so you're going to get a little extra here. This is the standard magazine. It only comes with one, but it is a 10-rounder, which is pretty impressive, like I said. So you have 11 rounds here total, 7 rounds here total. But you can get this 12-round magazine. So now I can carry 13 total rounds, and you can see it's just a little bit longer right there, and this actually makes it easier to grip. This is actually feels wonderful now because I can get all 3 fingers on there with my medium-sized hands without any problem. So this feels great. And because I have medium-sized hands, sometimes it's a little hard for me to get a really good secure feeling around full-size pistol grips, but this one allows me to do it, obviously, and this feels fantastic. So nice. Now I just want to show you how big of a difference this is. So if I take this magazine, right, and try to put it in the old LCP II, but what you might be able to see here is that this new magazine is just about the same thickness as the old grip, right? So it's really just some packaging, a little bit more efficient packaging, really slim walls on the Max here as opposed to kind of the slim walls here, but then the thicker protrusions on the side here. And so, like I said, I think that this is a no-brainer upgrade, especially if you get these 12-round magazines. And that's why I think they only included the 110-rounder, because I think they knew that most people are going to go out and get these. Now, these were hard to find in stock in places. I finally did get a few of them because I wanted to try them out. But to me, what you get here now with this is, obviously, I can get my 2 fingers on there just fine. And you can see that I could get my 2 fingers on there with that little extension. And so this, right out of the box with the 10-round, is really a perfect gun. And then with the 12-round magazine here, it's a superb gun. So that's what I wanted to show you here. A little compare and contrast between what I thought was an excellent pocket pistol, especially for the CCL, CCW crowd in the LCP II. But if you are using this one, carry this one, whatever, I think that this is a worthwhile upgrade. And it was just about $400 at my local retailer. So I think just a great value. Now, the last thing I want to show you here is that there is quite a bit of different sound between these two. So if I just go ahead and turn my microphone around and let you hear the dry fire, I think you're going to be able to see what I mean. So this is the LCP II. It's kind of a dull thud crack. And if I do the same thing here on the Max, it sounds like a spring came loose and broke or something. But that's what it's been doing all the time. This kind of high-pitched bing versus the original, which had a much more low-pitched, kind of typical sound. So, not that it matters, but it's just kind of funny that it sounds so tingy. So anyway, worth the upgrade? Absolutely. If you want to pick it up, I would definitely recommend it. I'll try to put links to whatever accessories I can find for this, but I think especially if you have the old holsters for the old one, then it's a no-brainer. And I think you're going to love the additional capacity. I know I do. Peter Von Panda, out.
If you wanna know about a brand, ask me. I'll check if what's in the bag's nasty. Better if you know what's up than the unhappy. I know what it feels like when you're done cashing. They tried their meal or drive their vehicle. Garbage delivered at your PO. I know you feel yo. You wanna scream, your head hurts on your pillow.
Discover more.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Explore deeper.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Live better.